playing with fire with that relationship. But he didn't want to wrap up the bow too neatly, so she said my name.
You know, at least you got a warning for your shirt off scene. I read the script and found that I had to have my shirt off in like 3 or 4 days, so I called Joss. They often refer to my character as the muscle on the show. So I said, Joss, you realize that after this scene, you're no longer gonna be able to call me the muscle. Call me the flab or something.
That's the thing, man. You can give it to him, but you gotta have time to do that. And when you're working 20 hours a day, it's like, well, just roll in. If you gave us weights on the set, I remember having the same conversation. Like, I remember when I went on Supernatural, they had a weight truck.
Really?
That's one of the reasons those guys still look so good, is they have a weight truck. They go in there on lunch and they pump it. And Joss was like, no, man, you got a trailer, get your own weights. So I did, but yeah, it's like, what was it, that Terminator lady, Hamilton? And it's like, there was a great scene on Saturday Night Live where she's like, Linda Hamilton hanging out in the bar, and this woman comes up, tries to pick a fight with her. Oh, I've seen your muscles, I could take you. And Linda's like, well, no, actually, I worked out for those scenes. I'm not really like that all the time, you know. So yeah. So we get ready when you pay us.
Question from over here.
Hi, this question is for everyone. So I know that a few months ago, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter just came out, and I was curious if you could combine any historical figure with supernatural events, what would you do?
Martin Luther King, Vampire. I have a dream that this vampire is dust.
With Jesse Jackson as like a Robin sort of character, the young guy ready for the hunt.
That was incredibly sacrilegious. I'm so sorry. Martin Luther King's my hero though, so that's why. He was the first one to come to mind.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. I've got nothing to talk about. Except I actually saw Franklin Delano Roosevelt Vampire Hunter.
No!
I did. It's a film. You can get it somewhere. It is a big block of cheese, man. But yeah, he's like got rockets on the wheelchair. Not kidding. Yeah.
Oh, that is hysterical.
It's like Nazi vampires are coming over the water.
Oh my God.
I got to see that. I just saw the trailer. Yeah.
In my movie though, there'd be like a march on Sunnydale. Separate but equal stakes. I gotta stop. This is bad. Bad. I'm gonna get my ghetto pass revoked. And I'm in Atlanta. Oh, what's going on?
That's right, man. I never saw a town like Sunnydale. Like, what is this, Johannesburg? What is No. Oh, it was Hollywood. Oh, I got it. Yeah, okay. It's true. Oh boy, that took the air out of the room. Truth. Oh Christ. Oh, no.
You want to try and follow that up, Juliet?
What's that? What?
Next question.
Yes. Before we get in any more trouble.
You can't top that. Let's take a question from over here.
All right, I'd like to play the embarrassing game.
Yes.
James, I love you doing Dresden Files.
Yeah!
At what point did they tell you were mispronouncing runes and sigils?
I've got a guy who's got this computer, and he checks everything. We got something wrong?
The first 3 books, you're saying it wrong.
Oh, that was before Mr. Computer Guy Bob, yeah. That, I remember the first time I sat down to read the first Dresden book, it was the first book I ever read, and I almost went screaming from the booth after 3 hours because it was so difficult. And I remember telling them, don't correct me, man. The microphone wants the dirt, man. It doesn't want it perfect. It's just ridiculous, man. And now I look back at that like, you idiot, you freaking idiot. I was such a wimp, in the beginning. But so yeah, I think that they backed off because I was so difficult. I have to really be honest about that. And you didn't embarrass me. But now, I used to have arguments with this Mr. Computer Box guy, Bob, who I love dearly, and I used to keep telling him, look, man, what was that word, man? It was some word they wanted me to pronounce in like the old-fashioned English way or something. I'm like, dude, I play a guy who didn't graduate from high school. You know, if I, as a Shakespearean theater actor, don't pronounce it that way, don't check the box. But now I just give it over to him. It's because so I don't have to embarrass myself to say, what'd I say, Siggles? I did? Ruins. Well, I won't give you a refund anyway. Next!
Next question over here.
Hello. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of all women and gay men would like to know from Mr. James Marsters and Jay August, how long and wide are your pants measurements?
Repeat the question, because we didn't hear it.
We didn't hear it.
Yeah.
How long and wide
Yeah.
are your pants measurements?
Yeah. You know, there was an actress who came up and asked me that on the Buffy set. Yeah, so I'll give you the same answer. A little longer than normal.
And I'll give you this answer. 36 girth and 36 length.
Whoa! Man, that was close. That was close.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah, right on.
Bar keeps getting raised.
At least he didn't ask us if our hem was seamed. He didn't ask if we were pleated or flat front.
Try to keep it a family show, I guess. You know?
Yeah, man. Double entendres are getting pretty thin. You know, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can play Embarrass James from over this side of the room now.
Nice.
Okay, no embarrassing questions, but I'm going to try to get this out right. When I'm watching Buffy and Angel, I have to wonder, and I'm going to ask, I'm a clinical mental health provider. I work with individuals with chronic and persistent mental illness, where demons, vampires, ghosts are things that nightmares are made out of. And I'm just wondering, as a person going to work for 20 hours a day, where you are playing these characters, when you get off of work, how do you cope with what you did during the day, and how do you keep your sanity?
Well, it's part of, I mean, whether it's for Buffy or any character that you play, it's part of the job is basically you can spend up to 18 hours in one sort of reality. It can be that you're hysterically crying for 18 hours straight. It can be that you're playing a vampire. It could be that you're murdering somebody. And you basically, part of the technique of it is being able to sort of leave that at the door. And sometimes it depends on the nature of the role, and sometimes you literally have to kind of take a beat. I produced a 2-evening reading of A Streetcar Named Desire last year because it was the centennial of Tennessee Williams' birth, and playing Blanche was definitely a harder role to leave at the door. Ask my husband. But I would do things like watch Fred Astaire movies on my time off. And I also was shooting a movie at the same time that was a very different character. And so that was actually really good because it forced me to leave. But it's part of the gig. It's what you do. It's same thing. You create a romance and then you go home to your honey. So you leave that at the door or at the studio, and then you go on. Sometimes there is emotional residue just because the nature of what you're doing is playing with your emotions.
Yeah. I don't know that I've run into any psychologist or therapist that would tell you that acting is mentally healthy. You often are dredging up things that are not healthy to think about.
Although by the same token, it's like in regular life, if you're having a fit, people say, "Oh, that's," and when you're acting, they go, "Wonderful."
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I tried to think of the word action as this magical word that was a portal into a different experience, and I thought of myself as kind of chained back until that magic word was uttered, and then I could give myself permission to go wherever needed, and then when cut happened, the door closes again. Also, what's wonderful about the word action is everyone else has to shut up, and I get to go. Yeah.
That's funny you describe it that way, because working with you for the last year, that's exactly what it seemed like you do. When they say action, no, I mean, you just go for it. I mean, he goes for it. When they say action, in a way that he's just chilling 1 second, and then the next second it's like, it's so intense, you know? But for me, it's interesting. I never ever, like, I'd have friends who would say to me, how do you work on a show about demons and evil things and devils and stuff? And I never ever once entered the world of the show in that way. For me, I'm a very sort of symbolic and metaphorical person. So when I first started the job, I had to really, you know, my character really hated vampires, and I had to just think, like, who do I hate? Like, what do I hate? What kind of people do I hate? And it's very difficult for me because I feel like I love everybody, and I was like, gosh, it's really hard for me to substitute a type of person because I love everybody, you know? Oh, except for there is one kind of person that I hate. There's this whole group of people that I hate, and the group of people that I hate are bigots of any form. Any form. And so I entered it from that place. Like everybody who was a vampire, I thought of them as a bigot that I had to get off of the planet. And that was the way that I entered the world. So I never once entered it in a scary way. Like, you know, Andy was a good friend of mine, and he'd be in makeup constantly, and I never, I shouldn't even have said his name at a convention like this because we came to a lot of these together. But anyway, go ahead.
No, man. Just a side note, man. Andy was awesome, and the thing about it, the thing is, his contact lenses. Like some people react to the contact lenses, like for me, they weren't a big problem. Like they hurt in the beginning, but then they would loosen up and I'd be fine. For Andy's eyes, they were incredibly painful. And so most people who have that pain become jerks when the lenses are in. They're like really short with people and they're just like, you know, leave me alone, you know. But Andy was such a gentleman through it all. So yeah, give it up to Andy.
Let's do a question from over here.
Hi.
Hello.
I love you all. I miss you all. I wish you'd all come back to me. So obviously I'm a big Joss Whedon fan, which means I spend half my time, you know, thanking him and like really appreciative of the work and the characters and the stories that have really become a part of me and the person that I want to be. So thank you.
Right on. Right on.
Wait for it. The other half of my time I spend thinking about how I'm going to punch him in his throat.
Give that up, too.
It's been emotional turmoil for over 10 years of my life, so I think I deserve that. But my question is that love-hate relationship that a lot of us fans have for him similar for people on the other side of it? Like, do you just read the script and go, oh my God, you are evil, but I'm gonna follow you regardless? I mean, what is that relationship like?
For me?
For all of you.
Oh. Punch who in the throat? I just missed the name.
Yeah.
Punch, who did you say? Punch Joss in the throat?
Half the time she loves him and wants to thank him for everything he's given her, and half the time she wants to punch him in the throat. I think we're all in the same boat. You know, Joss is not necessarily polite. You can tell that from his scripts. He's not necessarily going to tell you what you want to hear. You can tell that one from his scripts too. Here, I'll tell you a story. This is my second day on set. And I think my first day had gone well. I was hunting Buffy through the bar or the dance scene, right? And apparently the dailies came back and they were really good. And so he comes up to me on the set second day, and we were doing the scene in the meat factory, and he goes, "You fucking actors," excuse me. You effing actors with your pretty faces and your beautiful hair. You get all the women and we writers get nothing. And I'm like, I'm just coming off of extreme poverty, right? Like I just had a son born to me, and I was about to go to jail because the IRS was hunting me with lawyers because I've been cheating on taxes and I've been cheating on unemployment benefits to feed my son, right? Because I've been a stage actor for so long. So I needed this job. So I was like, well, Joss, man, I'm wearing the hair that you picked out for me. I'm wearing a lot of makeup right now, and then you picked out the coat. This is a $250,000 set behind me, making me look cool, man. If I look cool, isn't it your fault? And he goes, yeah, but you have those cheekbones. And he makes a raking motion as if he wanted to tear my flesh off my cheekbone. And I was like, yeah, but you have the brain. And he goes, yeah, you're gonna get laid all your life off this role. And I was like, Joss, I married my high school sweetheart. I don't think that's gonna happen. Do you want to trade, by the way? I'll take the brain. So that was my first. Another time he backed me up against a wall and said, I don't care how popular you're getting, you are dead, 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 dead. But he also invited me over to his home, and we read Shakespeare together, and we had many beautiful times together. He's like everything. He's just like the scripts, man. He's a wild ride. Yeah. You probably just love him, and he's so nice to you. I'll bet you.
I don't have the cheekbone story.
Oh God.
What did you do to make him want you dead?
Cheekbones.
I knew my lines and I stood on the tape correctly, I guess. That was the confusing part to me. I don't know what happened there.
It was his original plan, right?
I still don't know. I don't think, because the thing is that the question, in case nobody answered, was what had I done to get that reaction out of Joss? And I think that the basic thing is that in his world, vampires are supposed to be ugly and quickly killed. And he had gotten talked into one romantic vampire character by his writing partner, David Greenwald, called Angel. Right. And then Angel just takes off like a rocket and imperils his theme. And like, he used to always say, I don't go in for that Anne Rice stuff, you know? And so he was dealing with the whole Angel thing and trying to make that still work within the bounds of what he was trying to tell people, which is basically, once you realize that the world's messed up, you can't give up, you know? And that's what he was trying to protect. And then along came Drew and I, and we weren't supposed to be, the fans were not supposed to take to us quite so well. And so he was kind of mad about that, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Next question over here.
Hi, I'm a big fan of you guys. I would actually, speaking of the Joss theme, just like to know what Joss taught you that maybe you've taken with you through all of your future acting jobs in the entertainment industry.
Everything. Literally, I mean, I recently directed something, and I realized how much I'd learned from him and everyone that I work with on Angel and the other shows that I've done as well, but how much, especially from him, I pulled through osmosis in terms of thematic writing and metaphorical writing and just his shots and the way he thinks and the way he shoots things, tells the story visually, and, you know, double entendre, just layers of meaning. So much, and it was only in this process that I realized how much. So much. A lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I've been directing as well, and I think the thing about working with Joss is he has had and has on everything that he does such a complete, clear vision of what he wants, and it's really definitive. And yet there's room to be collaborative. So as an actor, it's the best thing because you know what world you're in, and yet you have a freedom to create. So I feel that I learned from him that having that clarity really liberates everybody to do their best work.
Yeah. I remember one time I was telling Joss where I think he was going with the script, and I did that a lot to him, and I was right.